Hello and welcome to another episode of My Crypto World. Today, my bird went off. Today I want to talk to you about some ghost stories. It's October, which we know is Halloween's in October, and during the month of October we get to hear a lot of ghost stories and tales maybe that we normally don't hear through the other parts of the year. Today I ran across an interesting story and it made me want to do this video. October, temperature cooling down, the leaves are starting to fall. It's really a good time to get out in the mountains and stuff like that, and I've been doing a lot of that. But today I want to talk about some ghost stories, some things that I was told that was passed down to me from my parents, my grandparents, things like that. And there's, when you're a kid, they tell you a lot of stuff, I guess, and I mean, they did me. I heard a lot of stuff. The first one I want to tell you about is my grandfather. He was kind of a rough character. He'd shot some people before, and they always seemed like they was moonshining and things like that. That was just the way of life around here. Anyways, he was kind of a mean-like guy, I guess. But he used to walk up the railroad tracks here it's still behind my house. And he'd walk up through there at night, and he's walking up through there because that's how they got around. They'd go someplace and then they would walk home or whatever, get a ride there and walk back. But he was walking up through there one night, coming home real late at night, and he kept hearing, feeling something hit his leg. And so he would, he didn't think much about it. Probably thought it was weeds or something like that. So he just, kind of take his hand and knock it off and keep on walking, and he'd hit it again. He could feel it hitting his leg. And then after, several times at doing that, he looked down and it was a dog, which would be just normal. A dog walking along, its tail was wagging and hitting you. But this dog supposedly had no head. And so my papa always carried a pistol. So he took his gun out and fired at it several times and then trucked it on home. That was one of the stories that was told to me years ago when I was just a youngin', so to speak. Another one involves my dad and the house they lived in. As my dad got older, he really didn't believe in he kind of put all that stuff aside that he'd seen when he was a kid or heard about when he was a kid. But they lived in a house that was haunted, and said that many times that his mom would get up at night, but didn't really have no, they wouldn't turn on the lights and things like that. The electricity was kind of poor way back then. You didn't get very good, lights anyways. But so she'd get up and go through the house at night, and a ball of light would come up out of the floor and follow her through the kitchen. And it was occurred often. So it wasn't scary to her, but they had other things too. My dad and his sister, which would be my aunt, she's passed away now, they had been out and they'd picked some green apples, if I remember correctly, and fed them to the hogs. Well, green apples can kill, if you overfeed them, it kill the hogs. Well, they overfed the hog and killed the hog. So anyways, they'd come in the house and they'd close the door, and behind the door was this big creature, which was a ghost of some sort, with big horns and things. And they told me about it a little bit, but my dad never did go in any detail about it. And anyways, they ran out of the house and they got in trouble for killing the hogs. And this is all in the same house now. And my grandmother, my mom's mom, had they'd always lock the door, and the man she's married to at this time, the other one that died, and the man she's married to at this time would get aggravated because they'd always lock the door, and they had an outhouse then. You'd have to go, if you want to use the bathroom, you went out to the outhouse. It don't matter what time of night it was, no lights, and you just have to walk out there. Well, anyways, he gets up and he's going out to the outhouse, and of course the door's locked. And he's frustrated, he's shaking the doors and all. People act like they're scared all the time, locking the door, and he jerks the door open and bumps right into a ghost. And he kind of staggers back, and he always, again, this is my other other papa, I suppose. He always carried a gun too. People were mean around here, still are. And he pulled a big 45 and he just shot the ghost thing all to pieces, you know. But of course it didn't do anything. It just slowly disappeared right in front of him. So he wasn't too, from what I understand, he wasn't too upset when he locked the doors from there on out. Well, it's just kind of interesting, I thought. But I've heard many ghost tales over the years and seen some things and stuff too myself. Weird things. We actually had a business that had a ghost in it, and sometimes we had a bathroom back in the back, and you would go into the bathroom. We kept it locked because it was just for you know, our employees and us. We didn't want just everybody using it. And anyways, we'd go back there to go into that bathroom, and sometimes when you open that door, a dark shadow would brush right by you, come out of there. It was really, really weird, and it would touch you sometimes. We had an arcade in the back, and you'd be playing a video game or something, and you could feel something pull your shirt. And man, there was some weird things going on there in that building. We was in there one time. We had a lady come in, and she was acting kind of strange. Blonde-headed lady. It's kind of like she was almost disoriented, or she was looking around and like she didn't recognize what she was looking at, that it was not what she expected. And she eased on through the back, and we had a back room, you know, a room in the back that you could go into. And so she'd been in there for a long time. It was a slow day during the middle of the day, and we kept talking and said, well, she snuck back into the back room, which was adult films at the time. We thought, well, maybe that's why she's acting a little bit strange. She went into the back room. You know, wasn't no way getting out. Once you got back there, you was back there. And so we waited for a little while, and nobody else came in the store. And I said, I'm gonna go back there and check on that lady. She's been in here a long time, and we ain't seen her. So I'll go back there to check to see where she went to. She's not in the store. There's only one way in and out, and that was the front door, which there was a back door exit, but it was chained up and locked. There's no way getting out of it. And so I looked all over. The lady wasn't in there. Well, later that day, there was a lady come in that I know very well. We used to talk about coon hunting. Her and her husband coon hunted, and I did too at the time. And I was telling her about this lady that come in. I said, there's this woman come in, and I don't know where she went to, because we talked about ghost stuff too with her, because before we hunted and stuff, we experienced weird stuff. And I asked her, you know, I was telling her about the lady. It was a lady come in, that kind of strange, and said she kind of disappeared. She said, hey, the lady I was talking to, she said, was she a blonde-headed lady? I said, yes, she was. And through talking to her, come to find out, the blonde-headed lady, who we think was in the store, actually used to own a dress shop in that very same building, but she'd been dead for years. And what we kind of gathered out of it was her that come in there that day, and that's why she was acting strange and things didn't seem right to her, I suppose. And she disappeared, and now that really happened. And if it wasn't for the other lady I talked to that coon hunted, I wouldn't, you know, we wouldn't have any idea what happened to that lady. I know she didn't go out that front door, because the counter was actually at the front door. So just kind of, you know, if she hadn't come in and told us about the lady that actually owned the dress shop in there before we had the building sat empty for a long time. And when we took it over, we put in a video store in it with an arcade and things like that in it. But I thought, now that really happened. That was really a strange thing. But we had a lot of strange stuff happen in that building. Seen some strange stuff. There was this little girl one time that got killed, either getting on the school bus or getting off the school bus. And where she got killed one night, we seen a white glowy object up in a tree. And we was driving in a car that had T-tops in it, Camaro. And as we went over it, went over top of us and fanned out almost like a sheep, but it wasn't, you know, wasn't uniform, it wasn't square. It had like little sparkly things in it, and it disappeared. And I didn't find out about the little girl getting killed till later in that, in that area. I was talking to the same lady that coon hunted, and she was one telling me about the little girl got killed. I won't mention the little girl's name because I know some of her family. I didn't at the time. I didn't even realize at the time, but so weird things happen, and so I guess this is a good way to kick off October, I suppose. But I just want to share a couple of those little stories and add a new episode into our My Crypto World thing. And if you got a good ghost story, send it to us. Something that really happened to you, or something like that. Go to our website and you can send it in that way, or you can get my email off of there or whatever. And I like to hear it. And as always, I thank you guys for watching, and have a good day, and keep it scary.